name is Abby Price, and honestly, I'm honored to be here today. I'm in Western Massachusetts, to give you an idea of where I'm coming at you from. Um, and I am primarily a Pilates instructor. I've been teaching Pilates for 8 years. I'm a dancer, also a yoga instructor, and I have a year of training through the Somatic Experiencing Trauma Institute, which is really incredible. So I'm here today to guide all of you through a meditation style somatic grounding practice. And I hope you feel inspired to do this on your own. I'll see if I can recap what we do at the end so you can take some tools with you. And afterwards, my best friend and colleague, Kristen DeLillo, will be guiding you through a 10-minute flow style Pilates and movement sequence from all of her amazing training to kind of flush out the body after grounding our nervous systems, which is, in our opinion, the best and safest way to work with our bodies. So everything we're going to present to you today is really gentle but really effective, and hopefully afterwards you feel calmer, lighter, more steady. We're hoping you can get in touch with some of the areas of your body that hold tension, whether from stress and anxiety or injuries, or anything that your nervous system is, holding on to. Now, the following practice with me is very intuitive. It's simple, but it's specific and it's very gentle. And it's crucial that we go through this practice slowly in order to give each of our unique nervous systems the time they need to shift in order for us to not go into overwhelm. So, it's safest and most effective when we give the bound energy in our nervous systems time and space. That's a big part of somatic experiencing, is time and space. So it's the opposite of catharsis. Instead, we titrate. We do one drop at a time as opposed to the whole ocean. We build, tolerance of the nervous system over time. So this work is fantastic for dealing with chronic pain. Some of this work can be a little bit triggering, so I want you to remember to take your time. Even if the slowness feels awkward, allow your body to do what it needs to do. You don't have to be rigid as you move through this. You can feel free to adjust, allow little movements, allow the body to express itself. Some of the ways in which our nervous systems discharge from our sympathetic fight-flight mode down to parasympathetic rest and digest is with sighing or yawning, sometimes twitching, kind of twitching you feel like you can control, but let it happen if it wants to happen. Sometimes sweating or getting hot, so just allow any of that. So the first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna get into the practice, is take the hands onto the rib cage. I'll tilt my camera down so you can see. Hands on the rib cage, and I want you to picture that the base of your rib cage is like an umbrella that gets to open up as you breathe in. So take a few nice big deep breaths in through your nose and exhale through your mouth, and just feel a stretch of your diaphragm. Start to get used to trying to soften this and putting the breath only into the rib cage. Inhale, nose, and exhale. I'm trying a few more of those. You may feel a big stretch. Our diaphragms are one of the most, the areas that hold the most bound energy. So this is a really fantastic, simple somatic practice, diaphragmatic breathing. Let's try just one more. Big inhale, fill your rib cage up, and then exhale and just let it go. Good. And then take your time coming out of that. And oddly enough, we're going to begin to just look around the room. I want you to just let your eyes go where they want to go. It might feel a little silly, but what you're doing right now is orienting your nervous system. You're just making sure you're safe from anything, right? And even though this space is a space you might be used to, still, we just want to make sure we turn our head around and see all the textures and shapes and colors. This is a fantastic grounding tool as well. Very simple. No one even knows you're doing it. Good. And once you feel that you've gotten a really good idea of what's around you, take your time coming back to center, close your eyes, and start to feel into the sensation of your chair or the floor coming up to meet you. Really feel into that sensation of where your body is in contact with support. If you feel your back against the chair, feel the chair coming up to meet you. Really feel into that support. If you feel your feet on the floor, really feel into that support. And notice how that perspective, that approach of the floor or the chair is meeting you. I am not burdening it. That angle might change the way you feel physically, even just a little bit. And now if you feel overwhelmed at any point in the next few moments, the next few minutes, go back to that feeling of support as your resource. And as you continue to start to turn inwards and focus on what's going on inside of the body, what is the first thing in your unique body that comes to your attention? Something that is kind of asking for your attention, maybe needs a little acknowledgement. And it could be anywhere on the scale from a subtle sensation all the way to pain. Anywhere in between there. Just what's the first thing that kind of calls out to you? Take a moment to just be with that feeling. It's so powerful when we can take that time to let whatever kind of bubbles up to the surface have a moment. So without trying to fix it or change it, just being with it. And remember that if you get overwhelmed, just go back to the feeling of your seat on the floor or the chair. Again, any movements, any breath, anything that wants to happen, allow it to happen. It needs to happen. Sighing is always a really good sign. Maybe you're starting to notice that that feeling or sensation that you're working with has changed a little bit. And that's a good sign. It's okay if it hasn't, but if something has started to change, that means your nervous system might be ready to move towards healing or letting go, whether you're working with jaw tension, neck pain, just any muscular gripping. Yeah. And just spend one more moment. And then let's take our attention back to the support of the floor of the chair. But also I want you to start to take your attention a little more externally. Start to feel into this Zoom room, right? Even though we're together virtually, start to feel into the group, into that sense of community and that sense of support. And whenever you are ready, start to slowly open your eyes. There's no rush. Any movements that your body needs to do, and begin to reorient. Just looking around the room, letting your eyes go where they want to go. You might feel just a hair different than when you began, but you actually just did a lot of work. So take your time. When you're feeling ready, come back to your screen, back to the group. And I'm hoping that now you are in your parasympathetic nervous system. So very good, everybody. I'm going to pass it off to Kristen, who's going to have you do some movement now.
Thanks so much, Abby. My name is Kristen. I'm just going to get us started right now. I am also a professional dancer and a Pilates instructor. I've been teaching for a handful of years and practicing Pilates for many more. And I also have a few years experience working alongside physical therapists, and that has heavily. So I work a lot with functionality and rehabilitation. And today I'm going to guide you through a movement sequence to warm up the joints, stretch, and flush out any built up tension in the body. So now that your nervous system is grounded, let's begin to move. And we'll begin sitting, and then we will eventually move to lying down. So be sure to have your space ready. So find a comfortable seat in a chair or on the floor. Any position is good, whatever's comfortable for your body. And we're going to start taking a big inhale and squeezing our shoulders up to our ears. And exhale, let them fall. Inhale, squeeze up. Exhale, let them fall or drop. Last one. And exhale. Cross your arms over your chest and twist very gently from side to side. We've got a handful of different rotations in different positions. So we're going to kind of start with this very gentle, natural range of motion. Come back through the center, and you're going to place both hands behind your head. Elbows open wide. You're going to spread the elbows open, stretch out that chest, maybe the armpits, and then squeeze your elbows together. Open the elbows wide. You can even stretch your chest out here, and then squeeze the elbows together. One more time, feel the shoulder blades come together. When you open, and then exhale, bring the elbows together in front, and you're going to stay there. You're going to gently pull your head down towards your chest and hold it there for a little stretch. The amount of pressure you give is your choice. And then you're going to press your head into your hands to come back up, getting a little resistance. And then as you exhale, come right back down, tuck your head to your chest. Inhale into the stretch. And the head presses into your hands to stack back up. With our hands behind the head, you're going to rotate to one side and then rotate to the other side. Beginning to slowly deepen your twist without any forcing. And some big breaths. Come back through the center. And then your hands are going to move onto your shoulders, and you're going to make big circles with your elbows up and back. Up and back to again kind of assist this chest opening, pec stretching, shoulder blades moving back and down. Last circle. And then arms can come down. We're going to go onto our hands and knees. We're going to begin with a cat and cow. So you're going to round your back, dropping your head and your tailbone, lifting your spine to the ceiling, and then relax your stomach, drop it to the floor and lift your chest. Inhale, exhale, round your back, drop the head all the way, and inhale, lift your chest. Last one, exhale, round your spine. And then find one more lift of that chest. You're going to straighten out your spine. Your eyes are kind of gazing directly down at the mat. And you're going to start rocking yourself back and forth. Butt towards your heels and then forward weight into your hands. I love this one for just really building heat in the body, feeling the weight in your hands and softening up your hips. So Take big deep breaths if you need to. I'm gonna add on to this move, but if the next position doesn't work for you or your body, come back to both knees down. I'm gonna straighten my right leg out to the side, inside of the foot resting on the floor, and I'm gonna continue with a few more rocks. This can, again, deeply open the hips and stretch that inner thigh. We're just gonna keep moving through it, though in your own practice, you hold in a knee position. Come back up onto your hands and knee, and you're gonna take your left hand and slide it under your armpit, twist your spine and rest your head and shoulder onto the mat. We'll be here for just a moment, but breathe into this and relax into it. Press into your right hand to come back up. We're gonna go to the other side. So bending that right knee and then straightening the left leg out. Once you find this position, you can go into your rocking butt towards your heels and then weight into your fingertips. Keeping the hips as soft as possible. If the leg out to the side again is just like too much tension, put both knees on the mat. Keep building that heat in the hip joint. Last one. Come on up. Now that right hand is going to slide along the floor under your left arm. You're going to rest your head and shoulder on the mat for that other side twist. And breathe into your back. Press into the left hand, come back up. And then we're going to move on to our back. So kind of rolling over, lying down. You're going to lie down with your knees bent. And we're going to start with some thigh circles. So let's pick the feet up and put both our hands on our kneecaps. And then you're going to make circles with your knees, kind of opening the knees out to the side and then bringing them together. You want this to be as much, or you want to do this with your arms more than your legs, as much as possible. So the legs feel really heavy and your arms are kind of circling around. Let's reverse those circles. Keep breathing through it. Last circle. Good. Let's place both feet on the mat. And we're going to go into figure 4 stretch. You're going to take your right ankle and cross it over your left thigh. And you can start here, stay here, and you can push that right knee away from you, or you can do kind of as Abby's doing. Hold on to that left thigh and pull it in towards your chest. This is a great stretch for your butt and hip muscles. We tend to hold, as humans in general, just a lot of tension in the hips and in the butt. So this and any of those hip circles are good release work. Exhale all your air out. Place your foot onto the floor and we'll switch to the other side. Right, left ankle over right thigh, and you can push that left knee away from your center, or you can grab that right thigh and hug it in towards your chest. Stop. Take one more breath. And then come back onto the mat. Arms will come out to the sides. Both feet on the floor, knees and ankles together. Rock both knees to the right, letting your hip come up off the floor. And then through the center to the left. And then keep rocking from side to side. Kind of keeping feet glued together, knees glued together, so that when those knees drop, you're getting a good stretch through that side body. Through some low back muscles and waist muscles. Then we're going to come back up through the center. Widen your legs. Keep the knees bent, but widen them, wider than your hips. And again, you're going to rock your knees from side to side. Another little hip release. turning those hip joints internal and external rotation. And the last one. Now our final move, let's hug both knees in towards your chest. Hug them in as tight as you can, take a little rock side to side. And then you're gonna curl your head and shoulders off the mat, and you're gonna try to make. We're gonna create all this energy, pulling in tight with your legs, with your abs, with your shoulders and neck. And then on the count of 3, we're gonna all lay down flat on the mat and just breathe. So 1, 2, 3. Open it out, any shape, arms, legs open. And just breathe big, deep inhales and big exhales. Feel the difference in your body from that tight, closed position to this open position. Open and willing. Feel the weight of the floor coming up to meet you. One last breath. And then you can open your eyes if you stop. And then let's roll over onto our side to press ourselves up to sitting, and we are all finished. Thanks so much, everybody.